What's good, YouTube? This is 2 reasons men lose respect for women instantly. Before I start, the new website is kevhick.com. Go to kevhick.com, book a coaching call for just $20 today. Moving on. Jumping right into this, these are 2 reasons why men lose respect for women instantly. From good men to weak men to shitty men to abusive men to narcissistic men. Doesn't matter the type of man. This is 2 things that men are observing and deciding if they have respect for a woman or deciding if they can respect a woman for. Right? And again, don't miss me with the bullshit about everybody needs respect. All of this, of course, everybody needs respect. This isn't an excuse to disrespect anybody. This isn't an excuse to mistreat anybody. But we all judge all things. And if you're wise, you're making judgments about everything that you observe. This is something that men observe about a woman before they decide how much they respect her. And that might be respect her mind. That might be respect her body. That might just be respect the idea of her. That might be the level of reverence they give to her and if she'll be qualified in their mind of committing to bringing home to mom. Okay. So the first one is they give instant authority to strange men. Random men have power over them. They just listen to whatever a man says, despite not knowing him, who he is, what he does, what he's offered them. They just allow men to tell them what to do. I've seen this a lot. And I talked about this in the last video where like a man might be like, come here, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, you come here. And the girl be like, me? And she'll shimmy over there. Don't ever do that shit. Don't do anything in that realm. If a man who you don't know tries to assert some authority over you, right? Just get away from him. Don't argue with him. Don't go back and forth. You're not going to win that war. Just get the hell away from that man. Okay? Because he's unbalanced. No man who has balance assumes authority over random strangers. That's weird, especially women. And so there's that. But there's also this idea that when a woman gives authority to a man that hasn't earned it, doesn't deserve it, she doesn't know, right? Especially when it's in relationship to like romance or sexuality or, you know, just him coming on to her. Hey, girl, come here. Hey, what's up, mom? Hey, that type of stuff. Other men see that and then decide based on that how much you can be trusted if you're their woman, right? Because no man wants another man being able to empower himself to disempower his woman. No man wants his woman being told what to do and being manhandled by other men because it's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and it's a mark against that man. He bears the shame that you are too unaware to recognize, right? So when a man is looking toward, you know, the idea of I want this to be my woman, I want this to be my girl, he's looking toward how much he can trust her, how she'll represent the relationship when he's away from her. Right? How much she'll honor him and respect him in the absence of his presence. Right? And a lot of times when women, let men tell them what to do, or when they're easily maneuvered and manipulated, it's a sign that not only will she end up, potentially being taken advantage of, which is something that, she'll regret, and it goes against her safety and her well-being emotionally, mentally, or whatever. And I'm not just talking about like, sexually, but just in a lot of different ways being manipulated. It shows that she's manipulatable, but it also shows that because she won't protect herself, she can't protect me. She's too foolish to protect herself from men who would seek to do their will over her will. So how the hell could she protect me in my relationship with her? Right. And so therefore she's not a viable candidate. It's like when you see a man who is like soft, when you see a man who's weak, when you see a man who won't defend himself. Right. That's the perfect analogy, actually. When you see a man who won't defend himself, you see a man get pushed on the ground by another man, you might feel sorry for that man. But you definitely don't want to go home to that man. You definitely don't want to give yourself to that man. You definitely don't want to trust that man with your safety because he can't establish his own safety. In the same way, when men see a woman being bossed around by men who they believe are either lesser men, weak men, stupid men, they're not respectable men, or they see you being bossed around or led or controlled by men who you don't know, who they understand that there's not really a relationship built that would elicit that level of authority to that guy. When they realize that that's what you're doing is giving authority to strange men, they realize that you're not protecting yourself. Just like if you've seen a man get pushed or slapped by another man or punked out, and then you're gonna have mercy on him. You're gonna be like, oh man, that's so bad. I'm so sorry. I feel so horrible for you. Are you okay? You might help him off the ground, but you're not gonna give him none because you can't get a sense of safety with a man who can't establish his own safety and who doesn't have the heart to fight for his own safety or awareness and wherewithal to protect his own safety, right? And so in the same way, men are protecting themselves with the women they choose, and when women don't protect themselves, men back away. So you lose instant respect from all men, respectable men, shitty men, weak men, whomever. You lose respect from all men when you're observed doing this and following a man who doesn't deserve to be followed. or who doesn't know you well enough to lead you. And the men who would abuse a woman lose respect for you, but they just realize that, okay, cool, I got myself another victim. And so while a good man might lose respect for you and just get away from you, avoid you, not talk to you, not date you, a shitty man will get you and he'll corner you, he'll triangulate you, and he'll abuse you for himself. And so he still doesn't respect you, but he will make use of you. So be very careful. And with those ideas, kind of 1A, 1B, or 2 in this case, is you aren't observed to be qualifying men before submitting to them. Again, now this one could be more long-term. Maybe this isn't a stranger, but to the point, when a guy can observe that another guy ain't shit, when a guy can observe another guy being an imbecile, when a guy can observe another guy not being equipped to lead, to grow, to decide, to do anything, and he sees you listening to that man, and he understands that you didn't qualify that man before you decided to follow him, immediately you lose respect. So a lot of y'all wonder how you mess yourself up in these ecosystems. You're in a neighborhood, you dated a couple of guys, now nobody wants to date you. Everybody always assumes it's because, oh, she been with the homie, she might be a hoe or this or that. That might not be the case. A lot of times, the wise men will watch the foolish men, and they'll avoid everything that the foolish man get access to. They'll avoid everything that the foolish man got to first, because they understand that foolish man cannot be qualified to lead, cannot be qualified to decide, cannot be qualified to treat a woman of respect any kind of way, right? He's an imbecile. And when a man doesn't respect the men that you dated, that you dealt with, when a man hasn't observed you date or deal with the man that he sees as real competition, that he would respect as real competition, a formidable opponent, then he loses respect for you. It's unlike the way women do. Sometimes women compare themselves unfavorably to another woman, and it just ignites their obsession with getting the guy back. They always say stuff like, oh my God, I'm not prettier than her. I'm prettier than her. Look at her. She's just a waitress. She's just this. She's just that. They'll pick a bunch of stuff and pick this woman apart because they think themselves above the other woman that he's dated or the other women he's encountered. But they're looking to qualify themselves for him, right? So even if he's dated women that they don't respect, don't admire, really wouldn't deal with, sometimes women see that as an opportunity because they're better than those women, that they're more qualified to be this man. They deserve this man more. And instead, they don't look at his decision making. No, not necessarily about what the woman does for a living. I think everybody deserves respect and love, but her decision making. If they observe a man dealing with a woman who's a convict, who does drugs, who this or that, whatever the thing that they don't respect, they ultimately try to compare themselves against her and compete with this woman because they still want the man. And men aren't like that. Men are the exact opposite. Man, if I don't respect the guy you dealt with, and you have a pattern of dealing with men who I think are beneath me, a lot of times as a man, I don't want you because I think a woman should be a rare experience, right? A rare find, a jewel. And if every weak ass man or every thug, every hoodlum, every F boy has experienced you, everybody's had access to you. You haven't qualified these men before leading them, before following them, and before giving yourself to them. If I can tell that you don't qualify men, if I can tell that you don't have wisdom in what you discern in men before you date or before you encounter people and do that consistently, I don't want nothing to do with you. Because again, as my woman, if you don't have discernment, as my woman, if you aren't empowered, as my woman, if you aren't wise, the shame that you avoid will fall on my shoulders. I will bear the shame of your bad decisions as your man. And so that's why men care about body count. That's why men care about decision making. Not necessarily because it's what a woman is and is what a woman is worth. It's because I have to bear the shame of the weak men. I have to bear the shame of the fuck boys. I have to bear the shame of the jerks. I have to bear the shame of the bad decision. Right? I have to stand up for you, and I have to really sit in the shame that you might have avoided by telling a man it's none of your business what I did, who I did it with, what this and that. That's cool, but a man will always bear the shame that his woman has brought upon herself, even if she doesn't bear it herself, even if she doesn't care. And so men lose respect for women who they believe would bring them shame. And these are two basic ideas that men are looking at when they're judging women internally. They might not even think about it as cerebrally. They might not, it might not be the specific thing or thought that they have, but it's a feeling. I don't respect that decision. I don't respect that judgment. I don't respect that pattern. This will bring me shame. I can't do it. And it's not just about that. When women don't protect their safety, they can't protect your safety, because when women make bad decisions with men, it creates avenues for other men to come and present another bad decision, right? And so now it becomes a physical problem. You start issues that men have to finish with each other, right? And so not only do you bear the shame of a woman who's made bad decisions, who lacks discernment, but you also are challenged in your safety, like she's challenged in her safety. Because again, women start things all the time that men have to finish. And a lot of times when you're calling that type of energy to yourself, when you're not qualifying men, when you're letting them mishandle you and you're in a relationship, now your man has to come and defend you. Now your man has to come and see about things. Now your man has to come and rectify situations. Or at least he feels like that, because that's how men are. So in trying to defend your honor, which you've given away, your honor, which you've just thrown to the wolves, your honor, which you don't seem to have a big sense of, when he's trying to defend your honor because he loves you, he cares about you, and he wants you, he respects you, or he admires you, or he thinks you're the world, it actually puts him in harm's way, right? To be ridiculed, to be disrespected, and to ultimately be in a violent situation because somebody's going to try him, because they lose respect for the man that stands behind the woman who makes irrespectable decisions. Because men are always assessing threats, your decision-making pattern becomes a physical threat to safety, not just to your safety, but to his safety and to the honor and the respect in the relationship. So those are two behaviors, two ideas that men are really closely binding themselves with, that they might not think of specifically, but are subconsciously running in their heads as they're choosing who to take serious and who not to take serious. And again, because we don't know everybody, we just observe them from afar a lot of times. Or we're not that close, so we don't know the ins and outs. We don't know the whys behind it all. You don't get the same level of grace from a stranger that you would get from a man who knows you, who's grown to love you and seeing your humanity from the other side. So please don't get caught getting led by no dumbass. Please don't get caught being mishandled by no man. And please don't get caught giving a man authority who should have no authority over you. And again, gracefully, just move away, avoid, go silent, get the hell away from that guy. Don't engage, don't argue, don't try to fight. That's not what I'm saying. Just don't relinquish your power to strange men. It says more about you than you think it does. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Go to kevhick.com if you want a coaching call. They start at just $20. Of course, they go up from there, but book a call if you need a call. Follow me at kevhick24 on Instagram.